All right, so hi, I'm Veronica Magan. I am the managing editor and digital strategist for Via Satellite magazine. We've been covering the satellite industry for the last 30 years. I am not an engineer, and at first I was a little bit nervous to come up here. I thought this was going to be a little bit more technical, but feeling good now. I'm a journalist, that's my background, and that's kind of what I'm passionate about. I did a master's degree in journalism, and I learned about all these really cool things that were happening, mostly in the consumer side of publications. So I learned a lot about what Wired was doing, the New Yorker, the Boston Globe, very cool things, kind of cutting edge. And then, I finished that and was like, all right, yeah, let's do it, right? I want to go do all these cool things. And I went to trade publications, and they're great. The content is so valuable, and the community is so great, but I don't know if I would use cutting edge or to describe the trade publication industry. So, it was a little bit disappointing, but exciting for all the possibilities. The striking difference, or the main thing for me is like when you go to a trade publication website, this is kind of what you usually see, right? It's like the traditional nav bar at the top and then a right-hand rail with those block ads you basically learned how to ignore. And then your content is kind of to the left. And so I work very hard every month to put up a magazine, right? With big images, full bleed, and beautiful layout. And when you put it up in this format, it's kind of disappointing to see your full image go into that 600 pixel wide box with the content. So you kind of lose that experience that you have with print magazine that you put across your face, basically. But it was like, oh, no, wait, that's just the website for a quick read, but we actually have the digital edition. And I just don't get it. I don't get why you would want to flip pages on your computer. Why would anyone want to do that? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it was great 10 years ago, but it seems, oh yeah, and you have to pinch and zoom to actually read it. And don't even try opening that on your phone. So I was like, no, this is not going to work for me. So we were, started thinking, what did I learn about? What were the things that struck me the most? And so I don't know if you know Snowfall. It's a New York Times interactive feature that's really, really great. It's the first of its kind almost. So it's completely interactive. It's an immersive reading experience, and it breaks away from that layout, that traditional website layout. So I started looking what else are people doing. So Pitchfork Media has a few examples. The Verge and ESPN, I have to tell you, I hate sports. I really don't like them. But I can sit there and read that article because it's really engaging and it's beautiful, and I'm actually interested. And it's just the way it's formatted makes it a little bit more engaging, right? So I'm like, okay, if I can read sports, then there's something there, right? So it's like, okay, we can try that in B2B or in trade publications. We've gotten to that point where technology, obviously we can't compare the budget of the New York Times with the budget of a trade publication or the distribution size, but we've gotten to that point where it's not that expensive now. Like the technology has been developed, right? So you're able to access these templates and stuff for a lesser price. So let's try that, right? And I'm going to show some examples of things that I've worked on just so that I can connect a little bit with your background, which is, satellite and stuff. So we did this article on cellular backhaul, and I'm sure you all think cellular backhaul is great and super engaging, but as a journalist, this is my nightmare every year because that and bandwidth management is just so hard to make visually appealing. It's really hard, It's such a technical subject. I'm like always struggling. What can we do that's different from that picture of a remote person in a remote location using a cellular or whatever? So the basic of the format is it's that immersive experience, and it actually connects a little bit more with your experience on the print publication. So it's not the flipping pages that makes the print publication good. It's the whole format, right? You have the white space, you have the big images, and the engaging content. And so now we're not using online to just mimic that, we're actually enhancing it, right? And that's the future of things. That's how you want to consume content. So you can integrate video and all that, and I have another example from this Ultra HD story that we did, which is tied to scrolling. So as you scroll, the picture becomes clear, but if you scroll up, it becomes pixelated again. So I thought that was cool. Sometimes I just sit there and do it because it's fun. And there's one with a rocket that goes, it's like lifting off, but then if you scroll up, it goes back. It's really cool. So anyway, we can put in charts and still make it engaging. We don't have to just do a tiny chart in the middle of your story. So, and the ad experience, we also try to enhance it, right? So we want to make it a better experience overall, not just the content and stuff, but also the ads. And that was something I saw in the New York Times, that the ads were still that block ad over there that you kind of learned how to ignore. So we wanted to do something a little bit better. And so yes, we're better than the New York Times. No. So anyway, so now we're trying to make this into the digital edition, right? It's like, let's kill the flip book. And so you can still have this experience. We minimized it, not so interactive, not so like heavy, right? But you still have the immersive reading experience, you have the white space, you have the big images that go full bleed on the page. And as you scroll, the stories start coming up. They're different pages, but they're programmed in the way that as you keep scrolling, next story is going to come out. So that's what's coming up, right? And again, it also mimics your print experience, where you just flip the magazine and the next story comes up. You don't have to go back to the table of contents and say, okay, now I want to read this other one. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. And a lot of trade publications are catching up. I mean, that's what's happening. A lot of publications are redesigning their websites to make them kind of fit the newer formats. And so when you go, because it's not like you guys only read trade publications, right? You also go to Wired, and you also experience that content. And then midway through that really cool article that you're reading at Wired, you're like, oh yeah, I had to check about that. I don't know, Airbus, satellite bus, whatever. And then you go to your trade publication, it's such a striking difference, right? So that gap is closing, I feel. So, I mean, it's really exciting. And you will be able to get a seamless experience on your mobile phone, on your tablet, on your desktop, if you have a new Mac and you can use continuity and just like continue reading throughout. So that's going to happen, right? You're not going to be having those issues when you open the digital edition and you're like, oh no, I opened it on my phone, so I have to go to my desk or whatever. So, you know, it's very exciting stuff. This is like my passion, and I could talk a lot about it, so I try to reduce it as much as possible, and I hope you find it engaging. If you want to continue the conversation, you can always contact me. That's it. That's all I got.